Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 6, Text 17. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Synonyms: Yukta, regulated. Ahara, eating. Viharasya, recreation. Yukta, regulated. Cheshtasya, of one who works for maintenance. Karmasu, in discharging duties. Yukta, regulated. Swapna avabodhasya, regulated sleep and wakefulness. Yogaha, practice of yoga. Bhavati, becomes. Dukkhaha, diminishing pains. Translation: He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Purport: Extravagance in the matter of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, which are demands of the body, can block advancement in the practice of yoga. As far as eating is concerned, it can be regulated only when one is practiced to take and accept prasadam, sanctified food. Lord Krishna is offered, according to the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 26, vegetables, flowers, fruits, grains, milk, etc. In this way, a person in Krishna consciousness becomes automatically trained not to accept food not meant for human consumption or which is not in the category of goodness. As far as sleeping is concerned, a Krishna conscious person is always alert in the discharge of his duties in Krishna consciousness, and therefore any unnecessary time spent sleeping is considered a great loss. A Krishna conscious person cannot bear to pass a minute of his life without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Therefore, his sleeping is kept to a minimum. His ideal in this respect is Srila Rupa Goswami, who was always engaged in the service of Krishna and who could not sleep more than 2 hours a day, and sometimes not even that. Thakura Haridasa would not even accept prasadam nor even sleep for a moment without finishing his daily routine of chanting with his beads 300,000 names. As far as work is concerned, a Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not connected with Krishna's interest, and thus his work is always regulated and is untainted by sense gratification. Since there is no question of sense gratification, there is no material leisure for a person in Krishna consciousness. And because he is regulated in all his work, speech, sleep, wakefulness, and all other bodily activities, there is no material misery for him. Text 18. Yada viniyatam chittam Atmanyeva vatishtate nispraha sarvakamebhyo yukta iti uchyate tada. Synonyms: Yada, when. Viniyatam, particularly disciplined. Chittam, the mind and its activities. Atmani, in the transcendence. Eva, certainly. Avatishtate, becomes situated. Nispraha, devoid of. Sarva, all kinds of. Kamebhyaha, material desires. Yuktaha, well situated in yoga. Iti, thus. Uchyate, is said to be. Tada, at that time. Translation: When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to have attained yoga. Purport. The activities of the yogi are distinguished from those of an ordinary person by his characteristic cessation from all kinds of material desires, of which sex is the chief. A perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of the mind that he can no longer be disturbed by any kind of material desire. This perfectional stage can automatically be attained by persons in Krishna consciousness, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4, Text 18 to 20. Savai manaha Krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vaikunta gunana varnane karau harer mandira marjanadisho shrutim chakarachyuta satkatodaye mukunda lingalaya darshane drishao tadbhritya gatra sparsheng sangamam ghranam cha tatpada saroja saurabhe Shrimat Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite Padau Harehe Kshetra Padanusarpane Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane Kamam Cha Dasye Natu Kamakam Yaya Yatottama Shloka Janashraya Ratihi. King Ambarisha first of all engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then, one after another, he engaged his words in describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord, his hands in mopping the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing of the activities of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the transcendental forms of the Lord, his body in touching the bodies of the devotees, his sense of smell in smelling the scents of the lotus flower offered to the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulasi leaf offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, his legs in going to places of pilgrimage and the temple of the Lord, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in executing the mission of the Lord. All these transcendental activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. This transcendental stage may be inexpressible subjectively by the followers of the impersonalist path, but it becomes very easy and practical for a person in Krishna consciousness, as is apparent in the above description of the engagements of Maharaja Ambarisha. Unless the mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance, such transcendental engagements are not practical. In the devotional service of the Lord, therefore, these prescribed activities are called archana, or engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord. The senses and the mind require engagements. Simple abnegation is not practical. Therefore, for people in general, especially those who are not in the renounced order of life, transcendental engagement of the senses and the mind as described above is the perfect process for transcendental achievement, which is called yukta in the Bhagavad Gita.